So then a wealthy person then would never feel lack. That's just unless they really, really want to. But the person who's has the money or worried about spending it, I'm certain it's not money. I'm certain it's the emotion they're addicted to, and they're using that money situation to reaffirm their addiction to that emotion. And they're becoming addicted to the life they don't even like, right? And that takes, and so that's a mismanagement of attention and energy. So that they have to upgrade their knowledge base. And so you want to become wealthy? Read a book on a wealthy person, someone who became wealthy.
Say it again. Really what?
Read a book.
Oh, yeah.
Like, read a book. Read a book. Does anybody read books? Actually, read a book on a wealthy person and memorize the characteristics of how they became, all the failures they had, all the losses. That should be what inspires you to become wealthy. They became wealthy. I remember sitting with a very wealthy man in Manhattan, Harvard grad. I tutored his kids. He was really out of the box dude. And he was super wealthy. And I was late for this lunch, and I was like, a cab, and I jumped out of the cab, and I just started walking. And he was eating a hamburger. And he was waiting, and I was late, and he was hungry, so he was eating, and I walked in, and he said, "I got you a salad." And he was chewing his hamburger, and he said to me, while with his mouth full of food, "Today I lost everything I own." And I'm just like, and he looked at me like really shocked, and he's like, "What? Will you eat? I am wealth. What are you talking about? I'll make it back in a few days." Didn't mean anything.
Wow.
He understood how to do it. It wasn't a loss for him, it was a lesson. He just was going back in the game again, and of course he did. It was like, he did it again. Wow, that's a great character trait to be that kind of example for your peers or your children. I mean, it's a great example.
Wow. He said, "I am wealth."
He said, "I am." He looked at me, I was shocked.
Because most people would be stressed or freaking out or on the phone or frantic.
He said, "I am wealth. Like, I know how to do this. I know how to do it."
I mean, what about people that lose it all that don't know how to do it?
Yeah, of course.
They didn't have the wealth. I lost my $1,000. That's all I had. How do they say I am wealth? Like,
Yeah, well,
nothing.
it is an interesting time to be alive, no? It's a really interesting time to be alive. There's just a lot of things happening, So how do you stay out of survival?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the question.
Stay out of it.
How do you stay out of survival? Because living in stress is living in survival. And stress is created when you can't predict something, you can't control something, or you have the perception that something's going to get worse. And there's an alarm system that immediately is built into our biology that causes us to get prepared for that threat or that danger. And that arousal then is an awakening, and the brain goes into the super alert state. And when we're in that state, now all of our attention is on our body, all of our attention is on our environment, all of our attention is on time, separation, right? So
We start to narrow our focus.
now we got to play by the rules of Newtonian physics, and that means you got to try harder, you got to work harder, you got to do something, you got to cheat, you got to steal, you got to do whatever a person does when they're in survival to take away the lack of what they're not having. And it could be anything for people, and it explains a lot of human behavior, because in that state of stress, in that state of survival, nobody's important but you.
Mm-hmm.